Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. In this video, we are discussing the recent enhancement with respect to introduction of OTP-based approval mechanism for manual discounting in Ginesys POS. Before proceeding with the discussion, let's have a look at the disclaimer. This will help you to decide whether this feature is relevant for you or not. This feature is specifically developed for brands offering or planning to offer manual discounts on POS bills or GV bills. Purpose of this feature is to implement control over manual discount right at the time of its application in the POS bill or GV bill. To use this feature, brand would require integration with SMS service providers. This may lead to additional costs if you don't have an existing integration with any SMS service provider. Talking about migration part, right after the version update, this feature won't be activated by default, and all the newly introduced menus in the UI won't be visible to users unless access is given to them via role operations. Hence, life of existing users won't be hampered or changed. In this video, we will discuss how to activate this feature and will also see all the new elements one by one. So now, when we are through with the disclaimer, let's proceed with the discussion on this enhancement. Before directly jumping into the enhancements, let us first peek into the background and also understand the related problem statements. Currently, Ginesys POS cashiers can offer manual discounts to POS customers if manual discount master has been allocated to the POS store. These manual discounts shall be used in special cases and are not meant for general public, but instances occur when cashiers intentionally or unintentionally apply this manual discount in POS or GV bills where it was not intended to be used. These actions by the cashiers causes financial loss to the businesses, and these instances are identified by business owners via reports or audit after the financial loss has already been incurred. To resolve these issues, we are implementing a new process that requires approval from an assigned individual or approver before manual discount can be applied to a POS or GV bill, whether at the item level, bill level, or both. The designated approver will receive a text message containing the bill details and a unique OTP, which shall be communicated with the cashier, and the cashier must enter this OTP to authorize and apply the manual discount in the POS bill or GV bill. Before getting into the enhancement, it is important to understand that this feature will only work if users have a properly configured SMS settings in place. To achieve this, the first step would be to register the SMS template given by Ginesys along with OTP SMS suffix with DLT portal. This step is very important, so let's discuss this step in detail. First, let's understand what is OTP SMS suffix and how to configure this in Ginesys. An OTP SMS suffix contains the text along with the brand name, which is mandatory for implicit service type messages as per DLT. This helps the SMS receiver to clearly identify the brand name from which the SMS is received. So in general, brands input values like "Thank you ABC Company" in this field. Users can configure this via system settings in master or site policy. Now, let's take a look at an example and understand what to get registered with DLT portal. If the template provided by Ginesys is this as mentioned on your screen, and suppose some brand named ERP Systems has set OTP SMS suffix as "Thank you ERP Systems", then the template to be registered with DLT portal shall be template provided by Ginesys followed by OTP SMS suffix separated by a space as shown on your screen. Point to note here is that existing clients who are already using OTP for credit note redemption should use the existing OTP SMS suffix for the manual discount OTP template as well. You can find the template in the release notes of this feature. The link to the release notes is attached in the description of this video so that you can locate it easily. Okay, so now coming to the next steps. Once the template is registered with the DLT portal, provide the registered SMS template to SMS service provider. The SMS service provider will then provide you with URL and user credentials. And finally, input the received URL and user credentials in the SMS configurations menu in HO, for which the path would be Ginesys Web, Admin, Utilities, Manage, SMS Configuration. If you face any problems in SMS configuration settings, feel free to contact Ginesys support team. We will guide you through the process. Okay, so now coming back to the enhancement. So this enhancement has impacts in multiple areas. Let's understand this enhancement with help of a user journey. Here we will see the enhancement both at Ginesys HO and Ginesys POS end. Okay, so the first steps to configure and enable this feature begins at HO. Here we have assumed that POS store is being controlled by the head office. So firstly, the HO user needs to activate or enable this configuration. This will be done via policy. Let's jump into the system and have a look. So we need to go into Genesis Web, POS Management Module, Setup, Master Policy, System Settings. Two new policies are introduced here. Let's have a look into these one by one. The first one here is OTP authentication mandatory for applying manual discounts in POS transactions, via which users can enable or disable the OTP based approval mechanism for manual discounting in POS. Here we have two options, yes and no. By default, this would be set as no. And if user wants to enable this functionality, they simply have to toggle this to yes. Once the user has set this to yes, the OTP based approval mechanism for manual discounting will be enabled. Now, talking about the second newly introduced policy here, discount percentage up to which OTP is not required. Using this policy, even when the OTP based approval mechanism for manual discounting is enabled, as seen in previous policy, users can define a certain limit up to which no approval would be required and eventually no SMS would be sent to the approver. There could be multiple use cases where this can be useful, such as applying manual discount up to a limit which is generally given to all the POS customers on special occasions. Let's set this to 5% here. It's important to note that all limits in this feature are based on percentage and not on amount. We will talk about this later in this video. You can find these policies in master as well as site policy in HO and POS wherever applicable. Now, since these new policies are included in master as well as site policy, different policies can be set for specific POS sites. For example, if users want to enable this feature only for owned stores and not for the franchisee sites, they can do this via creating separate site policies for owned stores and franchisee sites. Okay, so now the feature has been enabled. Now, the next step for the HO user would be to create approvers in the system. Let's get back into the system and see how to create approvers. To create approvers, go to POS Management, Security, Manage. Here, users will see a newly introduced option that is Approver Master. From here, HO users can create approvers. Let's create one. So, as you can see, there are 4 fields here, all of which are mandatory for creating an approver master except for the email ID. Okay, so let's input the name of the approver here. Let's put Mr. Ram. Next, we have the mobile number. It is crucial to enter this carefully as OTP for approval will be sent to this number. Next is the email ID. No such dependencies lie here. This is just included for informative purposes. You can skip this if you want. Finally, we have max approval limit percentage. This parameter is essential, and it is important to note that approval limits are defined based solely on percentage of bill amount and not on a specific amount. For example, users can't create an approver who can approve manual discount up to Rs 500, but they can create an approver who can approve manual discount up to 10% of the bill amount. The reason behind this decision is to maintain consistency across different bill sizes. Let's try to understand this with the help of an example. Let's say there's a discount limit of Rs 500. On a small bill of Rs 1000, Rs 500 would be a huge discount, that is 50%. But on a large bill of Rs 20,000, Rs 500 would only be 2.5% discount, which might not be enough if a larger discount is needed to close a sale. With a percentage based limit like 10%, it works more consistently. On a Rs 1000 bill, the limit would be Rs 100, and on a Rs 20,000 bill, it would be Rs 2000. This way, the discount scales with the size of the bill, providing a fair approach for both small and large transactions. Okay, so coming back to the system now, let's set the approval limit of 20% here. Let's create one more approver with approval limit of 10% named Mr. Shyam. So we have now two approvers. First is Mr. Ram with approval limit of 20% and second one is Mr. Shyam with approval limit of 10%. Point to note here is that these approvers are separate masters and nowhere linked to users. Hence, these will not consume any user license and users can create any number of approvers as per their choice. So, the second step is now completed and approvers has been created in the system. Now, the next step for the HO user would be assigning approvers to the POS sites. To assign approvers, go to POS Management, Security, Process. Here, users will see a newly introduced option that is Approver Assignment. From this menu, users can assign approvers to POS sites. Let's assign Mr. Ram and Mr. Shyam to a POS site. Click on Manage. Here you will see two grids. The left-hand side of this window consists of all available POS sites to which approvers can be assigned, and the right-hand side of this window consists of all available approvers which could be assigned to the POS sites. To assign approvers, simply select the desired approvers and site combination and click on Assign. So, the selected approvers, that is Mr. Ram and Mr. Shyam, are now assigned to the POS site. This brings us to the end of user journey for a HO user. Before concluding the user journey for a head office user, it is important to consider a key point. The sync process runs simultaneously throughout these steps. This means there may be instances where an HO user enables this feature as shown in step 1, while subsequent steps, that is creating and assigning approvers, are still incomplete. Once the feature is enabled, the data is immediately synced with the POS sites, activating this feature there as well. However, since the approvers are not yet assigned at the POS sites, cashiers will be unable to apply manual discount on POS or GV bill unless the HO user assigns approver to the POS sites. To prevent such situations, it is strongly recommended to first create and assign approvers as shown in step 2 and 3 and then enable the feature as described in step 1. Now, it's the POS user or cashier who will finally apply the manual discount in the POS bill or GV bill. Let's get into Ginesys POS application and create a POS bill now. Let's scan an item. So I am applying 10% of item level manual discount on this. Let's tag a customer here, Krishna Kumar Jain. Okay. Now let's click on the payment button. Here, POS users or cashiers will see a new window, OTP verification for manual discount. In this window, all the information related to the bill amount and manual discount amount will be displayed. Along with this, the approver needs to be selected to which OTP will be sent. By default, system will auto-populate the lowest level approver, but if cashier wants, he can select other applicable approvers from the list. Like in this case, we have both the approvers in the list, that is Mr. Ram and Mr. Shyam, because both of them are eligible to approve the manual discount as per limits set in the head office. Let's come back and change the discount percentage to 15% now. As you can see, now only Mr. Ram is available in the list as he is the only one eligible to approve discount up to 20%. Let's go back and try another case with 25% of manual discount. As you can see here, no approvers are eligible to approve such higher discount. Hence, this list is blank and cashier won't be able to proceed with application of manual discount in the POS bill. Let's go back and try one more case with 5% of discount. Here, as you can see, the new window did not open in this case and cashier was able to apply manual discount without any approval or OTP. If you remember, we have set the policy of discount percentage up to which OTP is not required to 5%. Hence, no matter what other configurations are, system won't be asking for any approval if the discount is within the limits of this policy. We hope these cases have given you a better understanding about this feature. Now let's come back to our original example. So we are now applying 10% of manual discount and let's select Mr. Shyam as the approver. Now, next field here is for adding note. This is basically a mandatory remarks field which is provided to the cashier at the time of approver selection in POS. This field with a 25 character limit allows additional information to be shared with the approver. For example, the brand can use it to capture customer type, relationship status, store name, cashier's mobile number, or any relevant combination as per the brand's use case. So let's put note as MLA sir here and now try to send an OTP to him for approval. As you can see, OTP is sent successfully. Now let's have a look at the SMS received by Mr. Shyam for approval of manual discount. Here, first thing you will see is the unique OTP. Then total discount percentage and bill amount information. Then the initials of the name of the POS customer for which this discount is requested. The note added by the cashier, and finally the OTP SMS suffix as set in the policy. All these information would be very helpful for the approver to decide whether to share the OTP with the cashier or not. Once the approver shares the OTP with the cashier, same will be accepted by system and manual discount will be applied. This brings us to the last leg of this release video, that is other points. With this feature update, we are also providing a view to POS users where they can see all the assigned approvers to that particular POS site. You can find this menu in Ginesys POS application, Back Office, HO Control, Approver Master. This is a view-only form and no changes could be made here. Second point here is option to bypass the OTP requirement. Since OTP delivery relies heavily on network stability, there might be instances where communication issues prevents the OTP from reaching to the approver. To manage such cases, we have introduced an option to bypass the OTP requirement. In the second tab of the OTP window, that is Privileged User-Based Validation tab, the authorized user can enter his or her user credentials to override the OTP requirement. This override facility is restricted to users with the designated user role allow override OTP validation in POS bill, ensuring that only authorized personnel can handle these exceptional situations. The override option is available in POS management, security, configure, role, allow override OTP validation in POS bill. Third point here is audit trail is available for approver master and approver assignment in HO. So coming to the last point is the logic applied by system to determine the discount percentage and filter the list of approvers based on their approval limits. This table covers an exhaustive explanation of calculation logic of discount percentage. You can pause your screen and have a look at it for better understanding. Additionally, since it wasn't possible to cover every detail of this feature in this video, we have provided a comprehensive list of frequently asked questions, that is FAQs, in the release notes. This FAQ section addresses all the finer details and potential questions that you may have. We highly recommend you to review it for a complete understanding. You can find the link to the release notes in the video description. So this was it for the video. We hope this enhancement will help you to manage manual discounts in Ginesys POS more efficiently. This video is brought to you by Ginesys product team. In case you have any queries, please feel free to connect with Ginesys support team. Thank you.